everyone. I'm Paul the Nitro Skywers. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to this special New Year's edition of the Nitro Corner, unscripted, uncensored. And as part of the New Year's holiday, I would like to take this episode today and look back at 2011 in my own way. So while I was thinking about this week's episode, I came to the conclusion there is one sentence that kind of fits into everything that can look back at a year, and it's this particular sentence that I'll be using. And it's this: 2011 will be the year best remembered by blank blank. So on that premise, here we go, my thoughts on 2011. 2011 was the year best remembered, start again, that was kind of a bad sentence. Maybe a better one would be 2011 was the year that blank blank blank. Sounds a little more simpler. Okay, let's start over. This is uncensored and unscripted, folks. So let's take a look back at 2011, shall we? 2011 was the year that the revolution has begun. Men like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Zack Ryder, the TNA Knockouts, the X Division are bringing professional wrestling back to respectability. And I mean in-ring ability, as well as providing total excitement for the wrestling fans. None more of this sugary stuff we've seen in the past from people like Cena and Undertaker and Kane. That kind of figure where the next step is for them, and it makes it more boring. Now the revolution has begun, where wrestling matters as far as I'm concerned. So people like CM Punk, who've done a great job shoot-wise with those great shoot promos, Daniel Bryan with his hard work ethic and his tremendous in-ring ability and wrestling skill that I already knew about in the past with Ring of Honor, making him a world heavyweight champion. Zack Ryder, who's got a great personality with his woo woo woo, you know it, and he ended up becoming United States champion. So really, the revolution has started. Look at the knockouts. People like one of my favorites, Velvet Sky, whose hard work and tenacity paid off in winning the knockouts title this year. Women like Mickie James, who bring excitement to the knockouts division. On a side note, more rip-offs. How dare Madison Rayne have to dress up as a Sting clone to screw Madison Rayne out of the title? I'll get to that in a minute. But Madison Rayne's hard work paid off, Mickie James's work paid off, and her becoming multiple-time knockouts champion. And it's been a great year for the revolution to start out on a positive note like that, and I expect more in 2012. 2011 will be the year that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Number one, John Laurinaitis. Here's a guy that has a t-shirt of himself now out on WWEshop.com. I'm not joking around. He has a t-shirt. This guy's got no talent. He is ridiculously boring. He's a pain in the ass. He thinks he owns the world, and he doesn't do squat. Here's a guy that's so annoying and so pathetic that he's just a complete waste of time and talent and space, and he doesn't even have talent. And he gets his own t-shirt? Really? Come on now. And now as your executive VP of talent relations and the interim general manager of Raw, where he has to name his job description to get himself over. Really? Like I said, absolute power corrupts absolutely. People like Karen Angle, before she was fired, charged the knockouts. I'm changing the knockouts. All you fans are beneath me. And yada yada, you loser, you suck. Yeah, you're fired, Karen. Again, another example of absolute power corrupts absolutely. And those are two prime examples of that course. One got fired. Thank you. The other one's still around. Please get rid of him, Lord. Please. Okay, so that's 2011. The next one for 2011. Absolute Power corrupts, absolutely. Another thing, 2011 will be the year that OneCW was the premier, and still is the premier independent wrestling organization in the state of Delaware. No offense to DCW, who did a strong year, but in my opinion, OneCW is where it's at. And upcoming in the next few weeks, I'll have more information about the big card coming February 11th, the Heartaches and Headlocks 2 event featuring Jerry the King Lawler. OneCW this year certainly has brought out the best talent to the state of Delaware, such as Carlito, Axel Rotten, Nunzio, and all the great talent. And Christian York, congratulations to him. First full year as OneCW heavyweight champion. Will he still be the champion when 2012 comes to an end? Who knows? But OneCW is a tremendous wrestling organization, the premier independent wrestling organization in the state of Delaware. And on a side note, I want to personally thank Sean Hardy, the Delaware Assassin, and all the great talent that made OneCW great this year. I was so glad to help promote OneCW through this show, and I would love to do it again in 2012. And I'll see you guys in Smyrna Saturday, February 11th. 2011 was the year that we lost the Macho Man Randy Savage. Certainly that was a huge shocker to me. Randy Savage certainly is without a doubt one of the most recognizable characters in the history of professional wrestling. Macho Madness certainly was running wild throughout the 70s and 80s with feuds with Jerry the King Lawler, Ravishing Rick Rude, and then in the World Wrestling Federation with Tito Santana, Bruno Sammartino, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ted DiBiase, the Ultimate Warrior when he became the Macho King, and then in WCW with Ric Flair, with the NWO. Definitely, Randy Savage will forever be missed in the world of professional wrestling. And that is my synopsis of 2011. It was certainly a great year for professional wrestling. Whether it was good, whether it was bad, whether it was indifferent, 2011 will be a memorable year in the world of professional wrestling. Now on to some current stuff. As I mentioned in the past, Madison Rayne. Now here's an interesting case here, folks. Madison Rayne comes out there, calls out TNT. As I mentioned last week, was a great angle. That's Tara Miss Tessmacher. TNT. Watch for them in the near future. Anyway, Madison Rayne comes out there and says, "You know what? I told you last week you screwed me. Now pay attention. You're both fired. You're both fired." Well, she ended up firing him. Or so she thought. Here comes my boy Sting again. Old school, keeping it real. Sting was like, "You're not in charge." Oh, by the way, I liked his impression of Madison Rayne. Killer. Killer. He goes like, "You're not in charge. I am. They're still hired. You ain't executive VP." Oh, here comes Madison with the complaint. Must be again that time of month. She goes, "I'm still executive VP. Karen gave me that contract and stuff. She gave me that contract." Sting's like, "No, she doesn't have the power. She does not have the power. I have the power. You're not executive VP." Again, great impression of Madison Rayne. And oh, by the way, with the cold Pepsi, I'll drink to that. Excuse her. Anyway, Sting did a pretty good thing there, and she is not in charge. Also, she forced Gail Kim to defend the Knockouts title against Mickie James, which turned out to be a very stiff match. On a side note, have you noticed how stiff these TNA wrestlers are this week? I mean, I saw moves like when ODB got ran into the corner. I mean, full force. That ain't no joke. I thought ODB had a broken neck. That's how hard she hit that turnbuckle. That is stiff. And if you ever think, oh, wrestling's fake, BS. You watch that, there's nothing fake about that. That is stiff. Speaking of stiff, the match between Mickie James and Gail Kim, stiff. It was a great matchup, back and forth, really stiff, hard shots from both women. And Mickie James thought she had it won. She had it won. Unfortunately, here comes Madison Rayne. Yes, it was Madison Rayne, although she had a little mask on. She comes in there, nails Mickie James with the championship belt. Gail Kim comes on top. 1, 2, 3. Boy, doesn't that suck? That sucks. Mickie James had her beat, and every time Gail Kim defends her title, it seems like now Madison Rayne interferes. We saw you underneath the ring, Madison. We're not stupid. Keep your nose out of it. Will you please? You just ruined a great matchup. And you're not executive VP, by the way. Oh, what else happened in the world of wrestling this week? Oh, SmackDown. By the way, Randy Orton's going to be out for 6 months with a herniated disc in his back after getting thrown down a flight of steps by Wade Barrett in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. And if you thought, oh, if this is part of an angle, well, really? I mean, you didn't see Wade Barrett actually throw Orton down the steps, but Orton was down a flight of steps, out on the floor, barely moving. So I'm going to take the high road on this and say, yes, I think Randy Orton did suffer the injury. He'll be out for 6 months. I think Wade Barrett certainly put a notch in his belt by eliminating the Viper for 6 months. Daniel Bryan is set to defend the World Heavyweight title next week against The Big Show. That should be interesting, and I hope that Daniel Bryan does a good job in defending his championship. But many people say, The Big Show will knock him out and become champion. Yes, he has that knockout power, the master of the knockout punch, a la Ronnie Garvin back in the day. I think that we could see a possible upset in that scenario with Daniel Bryan defeating The Big Show. I think there's an upset there. Keep your eye on that. Should be real interesting. Oh, by the way, Booker T will challenge Cody Rhodes in the rubber match for the Intercontinental title. Booker T will be glad to shut him up and become the new Intercontinental Champion. Can you dig it, sucker? Meanwhile, this Monday night on Raw, the day after New Year's Day, first Raw of the new year, CM Punk will take on Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight title. Now, answer me this question. On the Christmas Eve edition of Raw, or the last Raw of the year, John Laurinaitis comes out there wearing a CM Punk t-shirt. Didn't that make you want to puke? Really? Here's a guy that has his own t-shirt at WWEshop.com, by the way. Wow. Can you imagine wearing that shirt on a date? Really? Boy, you're going to get plenty of action with that John Laurinaitis t-shirt. Kicking it old school, right? Please, I'll burn that thing to the ground. Anyway, he comes out there and says that he is honoring the greatness of CM Punk. What a crock of you-know-what. That is a crock of BS. John Laurinaitis was there for one reason only. John Laurinaitis. And he can't stomach that fact that he is Road Warrior Animal's younger brother. That's the reason why he has a job in the WWE. CM Punk saw through all that and said that he'd rather have a match with John Laurinaitis, which I wanted to see that. Of course, Mr. Laurinaitis wants to be an ass, saying, "You're going to run the gauntlet tonight, CM Punk, against 3 opponents of my choosing." Ooh. Oh, God. Really? As if you're going to make a choice there, huh, Mr. Laurinaitis? Anyway, Michael Cole was more than glad to announce the 3 candidates. First, Jack Swagger, the All-American American. Sounds redundant. Dolph Ziggler, Mr. What the heck is that? And Mark Henry. I thought Mark Henry was not cleared medically to wrestle. Anyway, He got by Jack Swagger, but then, thanks to Mr. Laurinaitis, referee, Vicky Guerrero interfered. She needs to be getting out of here. Nothing but a distraction. Dolph took advantage of that and used an illegal move to pin CM Punk. Really? Really, John, did you have to go grab that microphone? Had to tell him, referee, there is a wrong committed here. Shut up, John. Shut up. God. Anyway, did he really have to do that? Of course he did. Because he hates CM Punk. Not that an injustice was served. Really? Welcome to the wonderful world of Monday Night Raw. Who knows what will happen? Well, I guess that's all I have to say for this time. I hope everyone has a happy new year out there. The Nitro Corner will be live every Saturday from here on in, every Saturday, right here on the Rest 101 channel. And beginning next Sunday, I will bring back the classic match of the week. So until then, I want to personally take this time now to thank each and every one of you fans for tuning in to the Rest 101 channel. I want to thank YouTube.com for posting my shows each and every week. Thank you so very much for allowing me to do this. This has been a dream of mine for a long, long time, and I will continue to provide you with the unscripted truth about professional wrestling my way. Until next week, everyone, in 2012, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyverse. Have a happy new year. Bye 2011. Nice to have known you. We'll see you in 2012. So long, everybody.